My dear students, today we are going to learn about the Newton's second law of motion. As we have learned about the first law, so today's second law we will go through this video. This is all about the Newton's second. First law we know that it's a law of inertia. Newton's first law suggests if a body continues in a state of rest or in motion, it will try to be in the same state only. So that means the first law, Newton's first law is can be called as the law of inertia. Inertia is the natural tendency of an object to maintain its state, either in the state of rest or in the state of motion. But we will learn about the Newton's second law. We know that how we calculate this force. So when we apply a force on a particular thing, then two things comes into effect. Because while hitting a tennis ball as well as while hitting a tennis ball and while hitting a cricket ball, we know that the force comes into effect. But what amount of force? So from coming back to the Newton's first law, we know that it is Newton's first law suggests that the body tries to maintain a state of rest or in motion if it is being applied. That means Newton's first law suggests that the presence of an unbalanced force will accelerate an object or changing its speed, its direction, or both its speed and direction. That means if an unbalanced force is applied on a particular object, it will accelerate, means it will speed up its motion. Okay, so this is either it will be change its speed or it may change its direction, or it may do both of them, means either it may change also its speed as well as it may change the direction also. So this is all about the Newton's first law. Now this Newton's first law is also coming into effect in our second law. But from Newton's first law, we need to calculate this force. How? What is the force once we apply? For example, if a ball is there and if I just hit it by a cricket bat, then the ball moves at a very fast speed. I mean the velocity increases rapidly. But same time, if I take a tennis ball and if I hit it with a force, then it accelerates very slowly. It goes a lesser distance. So what is that? So how this force is affected the acceleration of a body, we will learn in the second law of motion. So how we calculate this force and what is the relation between the force and the acceleration? How force makes a particular body to accelerate. So this we will see here in the case. Here the tennis player, in the first case the tennis ball, the player hits the ball, but the tennis ball doesn't go more speedily. The velocity is limited. But while coming into the second case, in the first case, as you will see, the tennis ball with that force, it goes very slowly. But coming in the case of a cricket ball, when the bowler bowls and the batsman hits it, that time the impact, that is once the ball is hit on the player, the impact is very high because the mass of the ball, cricket ball, is quite heavy than the tennis ball. Tennis ball is quite lighter, whereas the cricket ball is quite heavier. So that's why the impact on the particular player, if it is being hit, it will be having much more impact. That's why cricket player, when goes to play on the cricket field, that time they usually put different guards on their body to protect themselves. But whereas in the case of tennis player, they don't take any protection. Simply they go and place, because the tennis ball, they know that impact on their body, if it is being hit on their body, it will not be of that much heavier, so they are not taking any risk. So we came to know that impact of the object depends upon the mass of the object, because tennis ball is quite lighter, the mass of the tennis ball is quite lighter, whereas the mass of the cricket ball is quite heavier, as shown in the figure. So impact of object depends on the mass. Similarly, now you see if mass of a cricket ball is quite heavy, but a bullet, when it is being fired from a gun, the bullet size is very small. But still, if it comes and hits someone, it creates a very huge impact, or it may kill a person. That means, but if the bullet is so small, the weight is also very small. The weight is also very less quite compared to the cricket ball. But still, it creates a very huge impact. Why? Because the velocity at which it is moving, that creates the impact. That is the impact only due to the velocity of the bullet. So that means the impact, here we have come to know that impact depends on the mass of the cricket ball as seen in the example. Now from the bullet we came to know that impact also depends on the velocity with which the object goes. So that, for example, here is shown in the figure. Now a person firing a round. So the round goes and hits the target. That is very small piece of, is a very small bullet, but it is the small bullet going and hitting the particular thing. Here we have seen the impact is quite heavier because the velocity is too high. That means we came to know that impact of the body or impact on an object depends on the mass of the object and also the velocity. So two factors are there, mass and velocity. Two factors are there on which the impact depends. So the Newtons derived a particular term that's known as the momentum. So this momentum depends on two things, that is mass and the second thing is velocity. So what is the definition of momentum? Momentum is nothing but it's the product of mass as well as the velocity. So if momentum is denoted by small letter p, italic p, then P is equal to M into B. Momentum is denoted by a English letter small p, and that is equal to, the amount of momentum will be equal to product of mass into velocity. Momentum is written by P. It is defined as the product of mass and velocity. So P is equal to M into B, or P is equal to mv. So here P is the momentum, M is the mass, G is the velocity. Here P is a momentum is a vector quantity. That means it is having the magnitude as well as it is having a direction. So once two things are there, it is known as the vector quantity. Vector quantity is written by a, shown by a arrow, and the unit is the mass. Unit is the mass is a kilogram and the velocity is meter per second or meter second to the power minus. So SI unit of momentum is kilogram meter second to the power minus 1. That means the application of an unbalanced force brings about a change in the velocity of the object. That means whenever unbalanced force is there, it will create the change of the state of a particular object, which we came to know from the first law. So first law and second law both are interrelated, but the most important law is the second law. Newton's second law is much more important in our day-to-day life, and it is applicable in every step of our life. So only when the unbalanced force is there, then only it will change a momentum. Now coming an example. Now here two boys, they are pushing a car. So now they are unable to move it because the force that they are applying is quite less compared to the force that is required to move the car. So that is not sufficient enough to move the car. That's why the car is not moving. But when they apply more force, that time what happens? On pushing further, what we have seen? Slowly the car starts moving and gaining speed. Initially the state of the car was at a rest. So as per the law of inertia, a car which was having, it will try to maintain its position, that is state, that is rest. Till the time the unbalanced force, that is the push by the boys, if that is increased, then it will overcome the inertia and the car will start moving ahead and gradually it will gain the speed. So from here we came to know, so for moving an object, an unbalanced force is quietly required. So without an unbalanced force, that will not be able to move. So now we have seen in the picture, now due to the unbalanced force, the object started moving. So here the time our whiz, the change of momentum takes place, also impacts force on the object. The time our whiz, the change of momentum. Momentum also changes because change of momentum is the product of mass into velocity. So this change of momentum, that the initial momentum and the final momentum. So minus of final momentum minus initial momentum is known as the change in momentum. That also impacts the force on the body. So from this we came to know now the car started moving. So this is all about the Newton's second law. So I hope, my dear students, you all are quite clear about the topic. And if you do have any doubt, then please clear it in our next class. As per the Newton's second law, the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force, but it is in the same direction. I hope I am clear. Thank you and have a very good day.